Alright guys, it's been over a year since I uploaded my very first video back in the beginning of 2021. Now, over the course of 12 months, 36,000 subscribers, over 1 million views. Whew, I can't believe we've come this far, to be honest. I don't know, when I think back to when I jumped back onto my YouTube channel to educate the world about design and Figma, all this good stuff, I never really thought that it would achieve. Well, I was able to achieve what I have achieved today. It was just a side little hustle, side gig type thing. And yeah, I've actually really enjoyed building up this channel, being able to meet some of you guys in my Figma Masterclass, all that great stuff, being able to talk to you guys in the comments. It's been good fun. So to start off 2022, I thought I would jump into a Q&A and actually answer some questions because I'm fairly active on Instagram and a bunch of you guys do follow me on Instagram as well. And I want to jump in and answer some of your questions. So let's get right into it. Now, Himanul, let's say we are in 2025, AR VR design with Mizko Masterclass is live. How do you feel? So a bit of context. Himanul is in my Figma Masterclass, so I guess this is where he got his idea from. If there was an AR VR design masterclass by Mizko in 2025, I honestly would be scared because I haven't spent much time in designing AR or VR experiences. It was a conscious decision 5 years ago when HoloLens and Oculus sort of like came out and were a big thing. At the time, I was invested in scaling out my freelance journey into an agency. So 5 years ago, I hired my first full-time employee, and I said to myself, I consciously remember this. I thought, do I invest my time in upskilling in like new skills, design skills, or do I go down the business route? For myself, I've always been passionate about business, and I consciously said to myself, I'm going to scale up this business, I'm going to scale up the agency and see how far I can take it. So 5-6 years later, even though I've winded down the agency route for myself, I've learned that it's great, but just not for me. I've learned so much in the business world that I feel like it was worth the trade-off. So for me, I would be scared if there was an AR or VR design masterclass. Then we have second question. How can one get international design job from India? Now, I think this is really important, guys. Right now, you will need to understand that the environment on a macro lens of job opportunities, no one really is on site anyway right now. So even when I'm working, I don't really work for anyone, but when all my friends who are working for a company or working inside a company, they don't really go into the office just because of the nature and the circumstance of where everything is at right now. So being on site shouldn't be important. I think the question should rather be, how do you land a remote design job from India instead? Because a lot of opportunities, there is a major boom in the remote sort of workspace. Now, I honestly believe that if you follow one of the videos that I recorded around how to land a remote UI UX design job, link is in the description. I've actually had quite a few people, designers, actually reach out to me and say they landed a remote job in Nigeria in a US opportunity through this video. I break down the importance of your approach when you are trying to land a UX role in a remote opportunity. It's very different to sort of like an on-site face-to-face interview. The most important thing when you're applying for a remote job is that you need to get your foot in the door. Nothing even matters if you can't even get your portfolio viewed by the employer. That first engagement touch point is so important, and that is what I break down in the video, and I give you a template. I pretty much give you an entire template, word for word, of how you should do it. So you should definitely check out that video. Then we have the third question. I feel so behind the other designers, and why don't I get any client to message me? It's like I'm invisible. So sometimes, hey, like being invisible isn't too bad. It's a superpower. You should embrace it. And this is something where I feel like it all comes down to perspectives. Now in life, what I've realized is there are two types of people. There are the glass half empty and the glass half full. So in this situation where Tahire, hopefully I pronounced that remotely correct. She says she obviously is comparing herself to other designers and she feels that she's behind. So what's really important and something you need to understand is that I compare myself to a lot of designers, right? But I never put myself in a place where I feel bad about myself. It's always about, I will compare myself to others because I want to find areas of opportunity and areas of growth. I want to be able to always improve on myself and never stay stagnant. So for example, let's just use a designer that we all know of. Maybe Chris Do, for example. Let's say I'm a designer, I'm a UX designer, and I feel confident in many different skills, but I want to improve in one aspect, right? And maybe it's in typography because I know Chris Do is really good at typography. I would not compare myself with Chris Do and say, damn, I feel bad because I am terrible at typography. I would use Chris Do as an opportunity to grow into that discipline and overcome that opportunity and turn it into something that I can gain and something that will benefit me. So instead of dwelling on the fact that, oh, damn, so many designers are like far beyond me, instead see it as an opportunity where are they exceeding you in? Where are their competitive advantage where it is a weakness for you? And then use that analysis to work towards a better version of yourself. So for me, what I would do is, since I respect Chris Do's typography skills, I would go, damn, I want to pick up his typography course, and I'm going to learn everything that I can from him so I can become a better version of myself. So it all comes down to perspectives, guys, and attitude. Do you want to compare yourself with others, which is a very natural thing, and make yourself feel terrible? Like, to me, it doesn't even make any sense. Or do you want to compare yourself and use it as a way to understand these are my weaknesses and this is what I need to grow into? Then we have So To Design, how to get the first freelance client ever. I think in today's world, a lot of designers are starting to really overcomplicate the process of freelancing. So if I said, don't worry about the money, can you go ahead and land your first freelance gig? If you did not worry about the money, you did not work for money, I would 100% say you will be able to land an opportunity within a day. There is like so much work that needs to be done, and there is just limited amount of freelancers, right? There are so many businesses that need to get design work done today. I can guarantee you go onto any platform, any website, any Facebook group, any local community, there is someone who is going to need design work. And it just might happen that some of them can pay a little bit more and some can only pay a little bit less due to their circumstances of where the business is at. But if I said to not think about how much you're going to get paid, don't worry about that, you will be able to seal up so many deals. So this is what I want to get to you guys. When you are just starting out, don't focus on the money. Do whatever it takes so you can land that freelance client as easy and quick as possible so you can make the second opportunity happen easier. You might do a few free projects at the start, but at least you have inventory and leverage so when you start to charge for a project, you actually have things to talk about. Don't follow the money just yet, guys. Get the project under your belt, get the clients to be able to refer you, get the testimonials first, and then think about building your business. Now, the next question we have is by Fur. For freelancing, how do you market yourself to clients in another country? So when it comes to getting yourself out there, it is as simple as what I just said. You have to just get yourself out there in front of the right people. So you need to understand, instead of just throwing yourself out to randoms, you need to first understand, okay, what is my skill set? What am I actually good at, right? And in terms of UX. So you might realize all your experience around UX design is in the fintech space, so finance and technology. And you might worked on a stock market app, investing, personal finance. You've got some experience in that field. So instead of actually reaching out to all sorts of random clients and cold calling them, you want to be able to filter through, for example, LinkedIn, you type in founder, CEO, or director in the search, and then you want to just filter through and find all the companies or all the founders who run a fintech startup. You then want to reach out to them directly and say, hey, I love what you guys are doing. This is my portfolio. I've got some extensive experience in the fintech space and the UX space. I would love to be able to help you guys out in some capacity. Start the conversation. You just have to get yourself out there. But most importantly, in front of the right people. That is the goal. Then we have Vinti. Please share your system for lifelong learning and constant upgrading. So this is actually a really good question, and I want to double down on what I said previously around this question, because I don't have a system that I use to continuously grow. I think life and experiences are so random and spontaneous in life that you just can't have a system to plan out what you want to learn. For me, I've spent 6-7 years of my life, right? The last 6-7 years in the business world. So I haven't really been employed because like business has been great and there was no reason to go back to full-time employment. But when I'm running a business, I realize and I know that there are so many times in my life where I feel like I fall short in. Like I have a lot of success, but then there are also a lot of failures in my life as well. But whenever there are those failures, those struggles, those moments where I feel like I just didn't hit the nail on the head, I look back in retrospect and I analyze it. And I try to think about, where did I go wrong first, right? So where did I go wrong? Once I identify that, I then go, who do I know or who do I feel like is really good at this weakness that I have, right? And then I'll start to research that person, and then I start to reverse engineer it. What does this person do that makes them so good at it? And I start to just go down this rabbit hole of just self-improvement, right? So I analyze people who do it really well. I retrospect with myself. I think about what can I improve on. I practice it over and over again. And that's how I get better and better in all these different disciplines. So for me, I will always use life as my system. I will identify where are my weaknesses, and then I will do retrospects with myself. And then I start to really focus on improving. So public speaking is actually one thing that I have been really focused on trying to get better at over the years. So that's my system, which is really just living life and being self-aware. Phil Wards. I got an offer to join early stage startup as sole designer right off the bootcamp. Good idea? Now, this is an interesting question. I think first off, starting off on a good note, it is always good to land a job when you first come out of a bootcamp, right? Any job is a good job, right? It means that you are validated, someone values your work, and that, yeah, you can provide value and someone sees that and they're willing to pay you for that. So I think it's good. But the second thing is, when you think about it, when you first start out, if you are the only designer, then it means that you won't be able to leverage or learn from anyone who's better than you. And I think that can work against you. So one thing in life which I've always respected is that, and been extremely grateful for, is that I've been surrounded by very smart people throughout my life, because I picked my battles really carefully, and I would only pick the opportunities where I felt like I would gain the most out of it. It's not always about the money, right? I picked many opportunities where the pay, right, financial compensation was extremely poor, extremely low, but it paid off, because those opportunities that paid me the least sometimes had the biggest opportunity because I got to learn from the smartest people, right? So that is something where I feel like when you first come out of a boot camp, yes, it's good that you landed a job and you should definitely make the most of it. But when it comes to the time you plateau, you might stop learning at maybe 6 months or 12 months because there's no one there to teach you design, strategy, and all that good stuff. Then you should start to consider pivoting and maybe consider moving to a place where you can learn from someone a little bit more senior than you. Because something that I've learned from my mentor is that you can spend 5 years trying to master a skill, or you can just work under someone who is much smarter than you, or find a mentor or find an advisor, pay for their time and learn 5 years worth of knowledge in a day, right? And that is why I pay for advisory and I pay for coaching as well. Like I pay people who are smarter than me, people who make more money than me, people who have been in business for longer than me. I pay them a hefty fee because I want to learn what they know in a short amount of time. So that is something you should consider as well. Then we have Kel Josh Tan. How to get the first client for freelance and what price anchor is a good start. So I've talked about getting work as a freelancer. There are plenty of places. Facebook groups is a great place where startups come together. In Australia, we have a group called Sydney Startups. There's around 20,000 entrepreneurs and founders in that group. If you say, I am happy to take on one project, I'm a UX designer or a freelancer or whatever it might be, you would get 10 startups saying, yes, I love your services, right? So wherever you live, try to find those local groups. You've got Upwork, you've got freelancer.com, you've got LinkedIn jobs, you've got so many different platforms. You just got to get started. Now, price anchor as a good start. If you have had a full-time job or you have a full-time job right now, the best and most easiest way to think about what your hourly rate should be is take your salary divided by 2,040, so 2040. I think that's the number of working hours in a year. I think it's 2,040, I think. And then what you want to do is get that number, use that as your hourly rate to get started. That is the advice that I gave my partner who landed her first freelance gig this year, actually. $800 for her first project. She's happy. She gets to learn a lot. She gets new experiences. That is the mindset that you need as well. Don't worry about the money. The money will come. Just get started, get the projects under your belt, and all else will follow, guys. Then we have R47 Fat Car Kid. I don't know how to pronounce that, guys. I failed that one miserably as well. And I don't know why, but I tried to pronounce 47. Not sure why. Anyways, what car is that? Now, this is something that every single person, I don't know why, every single time I am doing a live stream while I'm driving, because it's the perfect time, to be honest. I've got so much time when I'm driving around, an hour on the road. What else can I do? Give value back to you guys. Every single person will ask me what car I'm driving. So I drive the Mercedes A250 Sport Edition with the AMG package. I feel like I've said this 20 times. Hopefully you guys remember, right? Then we have Craft Smart. For people 2-3 years into the design field, how do they find their design niche? So this is a little bit hard to answer because everyone is so different. But what I would focus on as your design niche is to really focus on what are you good at, right? Because what you are good at will mean that people are willing to pay you for, meaning that they're going to pay you some decent money. And when you are good at something and you are rewarded or incentivized by doing it, you will eventually build a passion for it, because passion comes through the reward system, right? Because you're doing something that makes you feel good. So when you focus on your skill sets, which are your best skill sets, and people are willing to pay you a premium for, that ultimately will build a passion over time, which then eventually will become your niche. Now, I do know people say follow your passion or follow your heart, but you can't really do well in a place where you are working within scarcity, right? And what I mean by that is, if you were just following your heart or your passion and you don't make money from it or anything, and you are actually stressed out because you don't have money coming through the door and you just need to worry about putting food on the table, that passion is going to wither away eventually. You need to be able to work in a place where you are coming from an abundance. You need to be able to actually have a place where you feel comfortable in. So I would say in 2-3 years time, focus on what are you actually good at? What are people actually paying you for? That should be your niche, and then you learn from there. You start to really evolve from that place. Then we have last thing from AKA Harry Potter. I just want to say I love you for making a YouTube channel for us. Love from India, guys. Once again, I am extremely grateful to have this channel, to have you guys support this channel, have you guys help grow this channel, and the least I can do is actually, give back to you guys, share the knowledge, share the experiences that I learned, so you guys can continue growing, and hopefully, 2022, we can all crush it together. And So that's pretty much it, guys. If you have any further questions or any comments, make sure to leave them in the comments below. I will also leave any relevant videos from my channel that I feel like you guys should watch if you are interested in remote jobs or any other cool stuff in the description. And if you did like this video, guys, make sure to gently smash that like button, subscribe, and I will see you guys in another video very soon. Ta-da!